We are oversubscribers to gluttony. Within our natures, we have learned to love greed. So we want more of what feels great.
I'm finding my current position in my life so much gratitude for that kid that was willing to do that and was so scared doing it. That's the other thing as well. I was so scared the whole way through. I was always nervous at every part of that, always stressed and always like feeling like an imposter, you know, like afraid at I'm grateful for the bravery.
When we had Red Nose Day, obviously people usually dress up in uniforms and whatever, and a lot of people will come in based on what they want to be, or what they like, what their hobby is. And I remember I stole one of my dad's clerical shirts and stuff, and it's dog collar, real talk. Now my dad's a big guy, so you can imagine I'm a small kid and I'm wearing a grown man's shirt and a dog collar. You wanna know the maddest thing? There was no part of that to me that the shirt didn't fit.
Right.
The shirt fit. It just wasn't my size.
Yeah, man.
There are certain things you have to grow into. You know what it is. You don't not know what it is, Lucas. But there are certain things you have to grow into. There are certain things, youthful zealousness, that you will grow out of.
Yeah.
There's certain balanced experience you will grow into. And so a lot of the time, the resistance we find to what is the basis that we haven't grown into it. You haven't filled out.
Yeah. It's I think about the other day, that thing you said about why would you do that? I was thinking about, like, you know, when I was say 19 and like jumping trains to get to auditions and like being in rooms for, you know, waiting an hour and a half in a waiting room of people who look just like me for, like, you know, and then jumping into an audition, doing it for 2 minutes, doing one take, jumping out, like getting like a £1.75 sandwich from King's Cross, and then like going home, you know, like it's like a 7 hour day for 2 minutes, thinking like why would you, again and again and again and again, like sometimes multiple times a week, like why would you do that? Why would you actually do that? What was the driving force there? What was the driving factor? And like, although I don't know if I have the entire answer to that aspect of it yet, I'm finding my current position in my life so much gratitude for that kid that was willing to do that and was so scared doing it. That's the other thing as well. I was so scared the whole way through. I was always nervous at every part of that, always stressed and always like feeling like an imposter, you know, like afraid at I'm grateful for the bravery that again, the kind of, if you think about it, kind of tripping guy was doing, of like investing in that, so that I can now, when I go to audition, I barely think about it. I walk into a room and just like do the thing, and I know I rely on, I could trust myself to do the job correctly, and if I get it, I do. If I don't know. But it's not with the same sort of battle that was, and like that's only because I went through that battle. You know what I mean? And it's a really beautiful practice, actually, in a way, to sort of look back at your own life and be like, oh, thank you for that. Thank you for doing the thing that was like the opposite of what you should have done on paper, and was the scariest thing you could have done. Like, you probably couldn't have envisioned anything that you wanted more but were more terrified of. Thank you so much for doing that, because now I get to bask in the fucking peace, in a way, of having learned how to be in that space. And that's also like that, something that came from that conversation about triggering as well, in a similar sort of vein. Like, it's why I think trigger warnings are really harmful. Like, I know a lot of people are going to immediately be like, what? But, and I only say to myself, I would never forcibly impart a topic or conversation or confrontational experience with trauma on someone else. But for me, like, I'm really anti-trigger warnings. I want to be triggered inadvertently, not inadvertently, I want to be triggered involuntarily as regularly as I can, because I need to get to a point where I'm able to handle that without being in charge, if you know what I mean. Okay. And because there's a clinical study that showed that trigger warnings actually exacerbate that person's fear of that trigger, because it heightens. It basically says that you're about to be scared, and they go, no, don't be scared, and then you get scared anyway, because rather than being like being confronted with the trigger. Exposure therapy, basically, is what I'm getting at, I suppose. And because I'm such an advocate of exposure therapy, I'm like, the thing that scares you, go and do it. If you've got, phobia of spiders, rather than go through life being like, I'm somebody who's got phobia of spiders, like, spend some time getting over the phobia of spiders, because that's just it's just like neurons firing. It's not necessarily even important. I just find that concept really interesting. There's a big tangent from one to the next in a way, actually. but like, yeah, it struck me earlier, and I wanted to add it in. But
I think the thing with youthful exuberance, everything is times a million.
Yeah.
So, you overindulge in dopamine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because everything is about the feeling.
Everything's always the most of that version could possibly be.
Look how long everybody lived off of YOLO. You only live once. According to who? So, you can coin something that is absolutely incorrect. Absolutely incorrect. And you can build a whole culture off of a false statement.
Yeah. You can cast word spells, man, for real, that really encapsulate people.
I'm trying to say to you then, if words are life, the overindulging in something that feels good in a temporary form because it's seasonal, that is maturity to be able to go, okay, when you cook, and I don't cook massively, but I'm starting to learn some stuff. Me and my mum are hanging out a little bit more. There's a thing called reduction.
Right.
And what reduction helps you to do is that it takes away not the potency, but it's not as thick. It just reduces. Do you know what I'm saying? It pulls back within the thing of what it is.
Yeah,
the problem most of us have is that we are oversubscribers to gluttony. Within our natures, we have learned to love greed. So we want more of what feels great, even at the expense of ourselves. And so the reason why I don't stay in a place too long is because everything is rhythm.
Yeah.
It's rhythm. I live in a musical space where if I stay in something or on a note, a beat too long, I have pulled 7 other people out of rhythm. The best version of what people saw, or my experience of what people saw, wasn't in the room. At that point, it's for them.